A major spoiler warning. This review will talk about a lot of the story content. I talk about post-game content, and we'll talk about things that, hey, unless you're sensitive about the lore, sensitive about the character interactions and all that good stuff, play the game, then watch this video. Also, while I'm at it, let's talk about Nintendo Switch. Seriously, is it like that? There should be a better way to, share videos and images from the Switch to other places. Why is it so complicated? Alright, back to the video. Welcome to the world of Pokemon Legends Arceus. This game takes place in Hisui, an ancient region that predates Generation 4 of Sinnoh. Here players will encounter lots of Pokemon, which there is over 200 of. There are new regional variants. There are new Pokemon subspecies. Battling trainers and wild encounters have been revamped. There is a new open world to explore with many side missions to complete. There are even epic fights that will leave you sweating. So join me as I discuss and give my opinions on this new recent entry of the Pokemon franchise. So, first things first, let's talk about the visuals of this game. This game, in my opinion, the visuals, they're not that impressive. They're not groundbreaking. Since this is built on the Nintendo Switch, this is made for the Nintendo Switch, this does not have the highest visual 4K, 8K fidelity, all that funny stuff, but it is bearable. Yes, the character models look really good, and that's about it. The world is very passable. From far away, the game does look a little crappy, but if you do get close to the object that you want to look at, it does look fine. So yeah, just not that much rendering going on. You have to actually be there in order to actually experience the full world, If you're, up on a mountain and shit, a lot of shit won't render. But it is what it is, It's a game for Nintendo Switch, so I guess I can forgive that. However, I wish they could just polish, the visuals a bit more, because even though the graphics don't look bad per se, I will say it does look a little rough. A lot of the hills and a lot of the ground is very rough. The texture is really rough. You look obviously not every single hill and mountain's gonna be smooth and everything, but everything is just so bumpy, but so unnaturally bumpy. You know what I mean? A lot of cuts and curves and all that really doesn't suit it. But other than that, the visuals are fine. Alright, and then number 2, let's talk about music. The music in this game is very, very nice. Very, very beautiful. You got a lot of feudal Japan, that kind of music of on the little ukulele thing. I'm sorry, I don't know Japanese culture too much, but it's those little, it's all those instruments and shit that ancient Japan people use, Any Japanese person, go down in the comments and tell me what that is, because I don't know. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. But anyway, that shit's so good. That shit slaps. And even in the battle music, they remashed that shit, dun, 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 dun. It's a lot of whenever you get into a battle, right? You get to a battle, it's the battle theme music is revamped, it's been remixed, which very done, very nice. The open world, depending on location and depending on time of day, music will change, and in every set of region there will be new sets, new playlists of music to explore. So music from, I guess, a snowy part of area, right? The snowy part of Albastor Islands, maybe at nighttime, is going to be different than Crimson Islands in the daytime. Or even day and night times, the music will change, and it's just. I really like that attention to detail to music. Just very nice. I can listen to it, even if I'm not playing the game. Overall, the music is just wonderful. It's really clean, and especially during those noble fights, especially during those intense, darks, what do you call those boss fights? Souls-like boss fights, whatever. The point is, you know, those epic fights. You throw bombs and shit. Yeah, it's got those intense, you know, very intense. You know, very dramatic. You know, I like that. You know what I mean? There isn't much, I guess, talent wasted. Every sound, every music is done, I think, perfectly. I think it's fun. Let's talk about open world. Earlier I mentioned about like how like certain curves, certain like I guess areas, they don't look refined. They don't look like sharp. You know, like they look a little bit edgy, but they don't look sharp and clean. You know what I mean? Like it can be a little rough. The textures. Like, for example, like leaves and trees, you know, like the infamous sword and shield trees and shit. Arceus kind of looks like those. Like their trees look like that, but a little bit cleaner. But not saying, like, it's clean enough to be, like, justified. Like, oh, okay, you know what? This is great graphics. Like I said, it's passable. It's passable. The open world, like, it's passable. Alright. Like, what is great, though, is definitely the Pokemon. The Pokemon really do make the world a little bit more alive, you know? Like for example, you go to the Cobalt Island, or Cobalt Coastlands, you know, just look at this field. This field is just so clean, you know? He's just there chilling. He's just there rolling around in the ocean. And just come back to the sand, and, you know, you give him some food and shit. Like, the Pokemon really do make the world, like, shine. The open world really shine. My only complaint with the Pokemon really is that I wish there was more of them, because there are certain areas where there are just no Pokemon at all. And, you know, when there are a couple Pokemon, you don't really, I mean, they're they're also scattered all over the place. I wish they were more concentrated. I wish you could see Pokemon, like, everywhere you go. That's my only complaint. People saying that, like, oh, like, I've been watching other reviews, right? Other reviews saying how, oh, the Pokemon, they're just static. They just kind of sit there. And I'm just kind of like, well, that is true. And, you know, yes, I would like them to actually move around a little bit more and all that. But, you know what? For the purposes of this game, I think that them being static is fine. You know what I mean? Just I don't know. I'm fine with them being static. I'm fine with them just sitting there and not doing much. Because, I mean, I really like not having to battle them and shit. And, you know, if they're running all around and I'm trying to catch them all and shit, you know, it's gonna be annoying, okay? Like, anybody who's played, I guess, that Request 94, right? Or that side mission, like, fucking Thundurus, Landorus, and Tornadus, those motherfuckers will just run around and shit while you try to throw the Pokeball at them. I don't need every single Pokemon just to, you know, make me work for it, okay? And, you know, sometimes I just want to catch a Bidoof and he's just sitting there, you know what? Like, that's fine. But my only complaint is I wish there was more Pokemon. You know what I mean? There's just very few in each region. I mean, not the number, not the count. Like, oh, there are like 90 Pokemon that can be registered in this region. No. I'm fine with that. What I mean is, like, there isn't, like, enough Pokemon, like, on the region, like, for example, the Cobalt Islands is a good example of, like, Pokemon being nicely even. Like, there's a bunch of Glameows when you first reach the beachside camp. What I'm talking about more is, like, the Albastor Islands, Icelands. There's no Pokemon. You can get a couple, like, snow runs and shit, like, that's about it. And you go to the Bone Chill Waste, and you know, you see a couple of Galeys and fucking, you see a Bulbasaur every once in a while, but that's about it, you know. And, like, the Obsidian Fieldlands, like, in the beginning you see a bunch of Bidoofs, but, you know, you get to that the middle of the map and there really isn't much except, you know, Krikatots and Krickatoons. That's about it, you know. Like, sometimes they're concentrated super well and other times they're just vastly sparse, you know. You don't really see many of them throughout the areas that you visit. So, that's my only complaint about that. Other than that, I really like the Pokemon, and the open world, you know. The open world is, you know, it's truly, you know, the life, you know, is breathed into it, you know, from the Pokemon, definitely. Like, the world isn't that impressive, but it's the Pokemon in it that truly makes it impressive. Now, going on to number 4, let's talk about the Pokemon. So in the region of Hisui, you get over 200 Pokemon. To be exact, you can get 239, 38. Okay, so Manaphy, Fion, Darkrai, Shaman, Arceus. So what's 242 minus 5? 237. You can get exactly 237 Pokemon before catching Arceus. The other 4 Pokemon that I mentioned are mythical. You don't really need them to complete the Pokedex, but in total you do get 242 Pokemon if you complete everything. If you get Arceus, if you even bother, completing the post game, you do get a bunch of Pokemon to catch, which is really nice. They introduced this thing called Alphas, which are bigger Pokemon, more aggressive Pokemon. They're basically the Sigma variants, but like epic, because we all hate Sigmas around here. But Alpha Pokemon are big boys, big chunky variants of the Pokemon that are like around it. So for example, you could have like in the first mission or before you fight the Cleavelore. Yeah, before you fight the Is it the Cleavelore? I'm talking about where you fight the Alpha Cricketune. No, it's not it. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's not the first mission, but you do fight a Cleavelore somewhere. You do fight him. Yeah, you do fight this Alpha Cricketune. That mission, and how you get that Heights Camp and shit. That mission, that Cricketune is bigger, right? And then when you check the small variant, it's tiny Cricketune. And you see big Cricketune. It's like, ooh, very cool, very awesome. They're more aggressive. They have better moves. The moves that they typically cannot learn, they will have, right? So, I don't know Cricketune moves set in general, but like the Alpha Cricketune that you will face before you get access to the Heights Camp, you will get moves that it will normally not learn, which is pretty cool. Another interesting, update. Another interesting pizzazz they add to Pokemon. In the Hisui region, they added the Hisuian variants. Most famously, to famous Pokemon like Arcanine, Scyther, Sneasel. To more, Pokemon that other people may not recognize as much, like Lilligant, like fucking Avlog. Electrode is pretty prominent. People know what Electrode looks like. Yeah, he also got a variant, like Stantler got an evolution variant. Oh yeah, certain Pokemon get evolutional variants, which is pretty interesting. Like Ursaring, the big grizzly bear, with the ring on its belly, that has an evolutionary variant, which is called Ursaluna. I'm sorry, not Ursalana. Ursaluna. So. Yeah, some Hisuian forms will have regional counterparts, and others will have to get an evolution, right? Others will have to have an evolution to get their, regional looks. And with typical designs, I think they look fine. I really like the Hisuian Growlithe, like the whole the fact that you can't see its eyes thing. I think that's well done. The Cleavelore looks really great. You can't even tell that it's a Scyther variant. Like, I think that's pretty cool. The Weirdeer, I don't have much to say. Oh, like the Basculegion looks really nice, and that comes from Basculin. Basculin evolves to Basculegion, which I don't think normally it does. Normally it just doesn't evolve, but that's pretty cool. So yeah, certain original variants I do like certain forms like Arcanine, Scyther. I do like their regional variants. Others are very meh. Like the Sneasel, the Hisuian Sneasel doesn't look that good. Only until it evolves into a Sneasler does it look unique, because Sneasler looks like a freak like me. Like just Google Sneasler and that basically looks like me, really. But like if there is a variant that dramatizes or really changes a Pokemon, I really like. But like just color palette swaps like that Sneasel, I just like, meh, really. I don't care that much. I don't care that much, to be honest. But this Three Forms is a bit of a mix. You know, some of variants are unique, special. You can't even tell that they're different Pokemon. You know, they feel like different Pokemon, which they should be. They should feel like different Pokemon if they're regional variants, which they do, and I like that. It's basically like a remake version. Like, you don't want a remaster, you know. You don't want a remaster. You don't want a color swap. You want a remake of a certain Pokemon. And if you can get that from me, all right, if you can get that on your design, you know, you get a thumbs up from me. So, as Reinformed, you know, it's a pretty nice upgrade. I do like regional variants. I think they're pretty cool when done right. Now let's talk about the story, right? Let's talk about the big boy story. You're 15 years old, and you know, you're on your phone. And you're just like, oh, goddamn, I gotta post on Snapchat. You know, I gotta watch my latest YouTube video from Austin and YTC. You know, oh damn, let's see what video is posted today. Today's posting, and then the Lord, not the Christian Lord, not the Christian Father, but the Poke Lord Father, the Poke Father, God Arceus decides, you know what, you see, there's a problem here, son, you know, we need you over here. So, you know, he just basically sucks you up into this dimension, along with your epic phone, you know, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, you know, he brought that phone with you, and, you know, he's like, hey, you know, seek out all Pokemon, you know. I'm not gonna tell you why until the end of the game, but you know, whatever. So go seek out Pokemon. Here, I'll give you a nice upgrade. You know, I'll give you a faster chip and a faster GPU to that phone. You know, there you go. Bam, bam. You know, it can now even read maps now. Bam, bam, bam. So you drop on some beach, and Professor Leviton comes in. You know, he's like, oh, yo, what's going on? What the fuck are you doing here? And you're like, what the fuck's going on here, dude? That's basically the intro, right? And you know, Professor Leviton, you know, takes you into Jubilife, and you become a survey corps, and you catch Pokemon, and oh no, there are nobles and shit. There are nobles. I know, very cool. And you know, apparently they've been struck by lightning, and you gotta take them out. You gotta calm down. You know, Cleavelore, fucking Electrode, Avalugg, Lilligant. What's the fifth one? Arcanine. You know, you gotta calm them all down. You gotta calm them down. You gotta tell them calm down, and you calm them down by throwing their favorite food at their face. You know, that's how you calm people down, right? That's how you calm Pokemon down. That's how you calm people down as well. So if I'm ever angry next time, just throw me some pizza at my face. You know, just splat it on my face, and I promise, you know, I'll be happy about it. And you could just throw a cream pie at me. You know, it'll be epic, and that'll definitely calm me down for sure. And along the way, you know, you meet a couple people. You know, you get to know Professor Lavington. You get to know Jubilife City, right? While you're, you know, collecting Pokemon for him and shit. You know, you also meet different people like Irida from the Pearl Clan, Adaman from the Diamond Clan. You meet Komodo, your commander, Silene, which is just basically Cyrus from the Team Galactic, but female. You know, you even have Ray, your or the male one. You know, the male one is Ray. I don't know what the female one is. I think Akari or something. I don't know. I play as a girl. You know, I play as a woman. You know, you got even Laventon. You got the suit. You got the Potato Mochi guy. You know, there's a bunch of characters that get introduced, and you even got like the Team Rocket equivalent from the Bandits. You know, you got Volo, everybody's favorite boy, Volo. You know, he's there to help you out on your journey to collect all the Pokemon. Because remember what I said earlier, how Arceus wants you to, you know, catch them all and shit. You know, Laventon's also like, oh, wow. Oh, funny enough, I also want to catch them all as well for this Pokedex. So, you know, you team up with him for that. And, you know, you got, like, on your way to, you know, call the nobles as well, right? You got two things to do, and doing all that, and you meet all these characters, everything's all epic. And so what do I think of the story? What do I think of the story, right? I'm not here to recap the story. You know, just detail everything about it. There are hundreds of summaries, hundreds of lore analysis videos on what the story's about, but that was my take on it. So, what do I think of the story? The story, I think, is very, very, very more cohesive than other Pokemon games, right? Like in Pokemon Red, for example, Fire Red. I mean, there really isn't much of a plot. I mean, It is, there is, but it's told in like subtle ways, and like, you know, Pokemon Heart Gold, told in subtle ways, and like, you know, a lot of subtle shit, you know what I mean? It's a lot of subtle shit. But in Pokemon Legends Arceus, everything is a bit more direct. You know, I do like that. I do like that approach. I mean, I'm that type of guy that's like, feed me the lore, feed me the lore, feed me the lore. You know what I mean? Like, unless there's a MatPat video, there is a game theory video on like on your like mysterious game or shit that doesn't have any good lore. Like, I'm not gonna touch it then. I'm not gonna touch it. Like for an average consumer, right? An average consumer, I don't want to look at it lore depth analysis and shit like that. Like, I just want to be able to experience a story just the way it is, right? The way it is. And so I do appreciate the direct approach of the story. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy subtle storytelling, you know. I do enjoy that, but I'm stupid. I can't figure shit out myself, you know. Only reason why I like I like reading about FNAF lore is because MatPat, you know, just, you know, tells it to me in such an interesting way that I keep watching. But, you know, that's about it, right? That's about it, you know. I like direct shit, and, you know, you feed me that shit, that's good. That's good. The ending, we'll talk about the ending, but I'll say this for sure. The story, it does, like, it's not masterfully done. It's not masterfully done. Like, you can't even use the whole, like, oh, subtle argument, right? Like, Pokemon games aren't renowned for their story. If your story's lacking, you know, the best way to, I guess, mask that, the best way to keep your story interesting is to make it subtle. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if your story isn't that great, but, you know, you want to keep it, like, epic and shit, tell it in a more subtle way. But, like, this story is direct, but it's not, like, really subtle. You know what you have to do. You gotta quell the nobles, you gotta catch all the Pokemon and all that shit, you know. Like, you have good goals to reach. You know, there is a climax, there is a plot, there is a bunch of shit to this. I think it's definitely what the little stuff in between that shit, that's like the most, not the best part. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, well, you know, on your way to, like, oh, quell the first noble, right? You catch a bunch of Pokemon, and there isn't that much lore to it. Like, obviously, getting to the boss fight gives you a bunch of lore, gives you a bunch of cutscenes, but you're not gonna get any more cutscenes and epic, all that good shit until you reach another boss, or another, I guess, foe or some shit. Like, there aren't, like, random Pokemon trainer battles and shit, you know? Like, this is a very rich story game, supposedly, but yeah, like on your way to, like, do different tasks, you know, there isn't that much story. You only get the story when you complete a task. At least that's what how I felt whenever I, you know, my gameplay, I guess, my playthrough of the game, you know, 60 hours in, you know. Oh yeah, like, a lot of the story is just kind of just something bad's happening. Oh, gotta catch some Pokemon. Something bad's happening. We gotta go stop it. Oh, gotta catch some Pokemon. But despite all that, I think it's good. I think it's great. The fact that it's very direct with the story, I think it's just awesome. Like, you know what? It's a huge improvement, so I'll let it. Now we talk about the game content. What the game has to offer, right? The game has to offer. Well, I earlier talked about bosses. So, bosses, how do they work? You know, like, what's the big appeal here? You know, is the boss epic? Is it worth getting the game for the bosses only? The bosses are great. You know, if we're doing some comparison, you know, it's not the best, you know, boss battles. You know, it's not like the best, like, oh, Dark Souls or some shit can do better. But for a Pokemon game, I think it's such a unique twist. You know, okay, battling is cool, but doing a boss fight after doing a battle is so cool. It's so cool. Like I said, it's kind of like it's kind of like a Dark Souls vibe to it. I can feel like a game journalist talking about this. I feel like a game journalist every time I say the word Dark Souls, but no, I truly feel like it's very Souls-like. You know, you gotta dodge, you gotta roll around. You know, yeah, rolling is a big mechanic in the boss fights. Now, if that isn't more Dark Souls, then I don't know what the fuck you're like. like besides the epic boss fights, right? Dark Souls is renowned for its ability to, for players to roll a bunch, And in this game, you do roll a bunch, The boss attack patterns are really rapid, They start off slow, Like in earlier boss battles, they're really easy. But like towards the end, the boss battles will get insanely difficult. And, you gotta have those fast reaction time speeds. And depending on like what controller you play, I played mine on my Nintendo Switch Lite. Boop. You will have a different experience to these boss battles, right? Your reaction time will be different. Your ability to just see things before, I guess, the boss, drops his dump truck on you and, charge your face and shit. I really enjoyed it. This is the best mechanic, I think. For anybody who isn't just hardcore gaming, not being able to dodge at the last second, the last millisecond. Anybody who just sucks at just dodging, who really sucks at like boss fights and shit. Dark Souls inspired, boss fights and stuff like that. Anybody who isn't really that good at it, there are a lot of ways to make these fights easier. Like you can send battles every like increments of the boss health. Oh, you got his boss health down to like 75%. You can send Pokemon in to stun the boss and to get fucking more attacks in, right? Get more attacks in. Instead of restarting everything and having to fight the boss at full health, you can start at where you left off and where you died and all that, and it really makes the game really easy. But you can handicap yourself, and those boss fights can still be intense, which I really like. You know what I mean? It's kind of like having an easy mode. It's kind of like having an easy mode, but in a more subtle way. You know what I mean? People are always saying hard mode or easy mode or have an easy mode or have not easy mode. What I think Game Freak did with the boss fights is such a great way that it caters both sides, right? Players who just aren't that good at the game, they can just leave off. They can just start off where the boss is, or the last point where they got the boss HP is, right? Okay, so you died when the boss health is 75%. Okay, you can start off with the game where the boss is at 75%, where you last left off. And I think that's really nice. You don't have to do that. For the first couple bosses, I basically handicapped myself. I did not throw any Pokemon at it. I didn't help weaken it. I didn't start at the last gauge where I died. If I died, I had to do the entire thing again. And then later on, I decided, you know what? These bosses are too difficult. Let's make it easier for ourselves. Let's start throwing Pokemon in. You know what I mean? Like, it's really friendly. Like, these fights are really friendly to both sides of the community. Like, they're both difficult, but at the same time, if it's hard, there's always certain things you can do to make the boss fights easier, which I really appreciate. I have to give this Noble Fights, the whole Pokemon Lord Noble Fights thing, I have to give it a really high rating at some point. It really, like, changes the game so much, and I can tell that, like, yeah, it's very basic for sure. Like, you just throw, like, fucking food at the Pokemon. That's about it. You know what I mean? It's not, like, glorious, like, you're fighting with swords and, shields and all that, but, there aren't, like, intense mechanics, and it's not like Elden Ring where you can also have summons and shit like that, too, to help you out. It's not that intense, but it's very basic, it's very rudimentary, but any change to a Pokemon game, I think many people will enjoy, and it's something I definitely enjoyed for sure. Definitely enjoyed for sure. Let's talk about the transportation and fast travel, right? When you're going across Hisui, going to all these different areas, transportation, I think, the transportation you unlock in each area after you, like, defeat a boss or before you defeat a boss and shit, I think they're pretty good. They're very good. Like, Wide Ear is, like, basically a steed in any, like, RPG game. It's like, just good. It's really nice. Helps you traverse the lands. I'm glad they add transportation to an open world game, because if they didn't, I'll be very upset. I would be like, God damn, I'm not, like, we don't need a Death Stranding, okay? We do not need a Death Stranding where literally you just walk, I mean, I've never played Death Stranding, but I heard it's just basically walking simulator. So we don't want another walking simulator, okay? We don't need one. Thank goodness they added transportation, which is nice. Helps, crossing the regions much faster. So after you defeat a boss, or before you defeat a boss in each area, you'll get like a new ride of sorts, and you get Whiteear, you get Bravery, you get Sneasel, you get Basculegion, and you get Ursulana. Whiteear is just basically a steed, like I said. Bravery is basically a glider, but a Pokemon. Basculegion is just your water ride. It's all very basic and rudimentary, but you know what? I'm glad that they added these things. And Sneasel is the best one by far. Climbing up shit, you need to climb a lot of shit. All right, Bravery and Sneasel are OP. Once you get those two, the other three are kind of useless. But the other two actually have other uses though. The last one, Ursaluna, is debatable. I mean, I don't use her much. I only use her only for that second area, and that's about it. I mean, some people like her. I mean, if you like treasure hunting, then I mean, you're probably gonna use her more than anybody else. But I mean, I don't give a fuck about treasure hunting, and because like items aren't really worth it. You can just pick off shit off the ground. I'm not too greedy, okay? I don't need shit underground. You know what I mean? So Ursaluna, I'm sorry, like I don't give a fuck about them. But yeah. Now let's talk about the main premise of the game, right? The big thing. Defeating nobles is great and all. And, like, that is part of your main mission, but your main mission, given to you by God and given to you by the professor, it's to catch them all, right? To catch them all. How was my experience with Gotta Catch Them All? How do I feel? Well, I will say this much. If you plan on completing the post game and getting all the Pokemon available to get, to meet God himself, do your space-time distortions. And what do I mean by that? Space-time distortions. So basically, in the world of Hisui, after the Rift, and, when the Rift is active and when the Rift is not active, either way, you're gonna get these cracks in dimensions and shit, and Pokemon from other regions will appear. You know what I mean? They will appear. Most of them will be there in Hisui. Like, just an Onix and shit. Onix is available in Hisui, but like, yeah, a lot of the Pokemon is kind of meh, whatever. But there will be occasional Pokemon in the Space-Time Distortions that you would want to look out for, like Johto Sneasel, fucking Magnemite, Sheldon, Bastiodon, Rampardos, those Pokemon that are only exclusive in space-time dimensions. You want to get those done first. What I would also recommend, you would also want to get the trade evolutions done first. In this game, trade evolutions aren't really trade evolutions, thank goodness, because I don't have a friend to trade with, because I'm a poor lonely bastard with no friends, but which is nice. I do appreciate that, which means you don't have to trade a Kadabra to get an Alakazam. But what you do need to do is you need to like find like lost statues across the map, collect them for merit points or MP points, given to that person in the training grounds, and you get a linking cord, for example, for the Alakazam, Machamp, fucking Gengar, all that, and obviously the other stuff like metal coats and Magmarizers for Magmotor and all that fun stuff, right? That's your second priority, because if you do this, you get all the hardest Pokemon to get first. You know what I mean? That's the hardest Pokemon, like, to have in your Pokedex. If you have them first, everything else will be smooth sailing afterwards. Because the number one thing that I saw through my playthrough, right, was I caught all the easy Pokemon. I evolved all the easy Pokemon, right? Like, I shit you not. Literally, I beat the entire game. But the last 5 Pokemon I needed to catch or evolve, they took me like 3 or 4 days to complete. And keep this in mind. I started about 2 weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago. And so if I catch 98% of Pokemon, right? But the 2% takes longer than fucking half my playthrough, you know what I mean? So get the hardest Pokemon first out of the way. That way you can have an easier time post-game. Otherwise, you're gonna spend 5 days trying to catch 2 Pokemon. Because man, those space-time distortions, they'll really fuck you up. They'll really fuck you up. Those item evolutions, it depends on the RNG and whenever the Lost Satchels and all that appear. You know what I mean? So sometimes you'll be lucky, and sometimes you're not gonna be lucky. At the end, I wasn't getting that many Lost Satchels, and so I was less lucky. But I already got most of them by then, so that was good. That was good. And obviously, regular Pokemon are easy to catch. If you can't catch them without battling them, if you can catch them without battling them, that's great. That's awesome. But if you have to battle them, be prepared. Be prepared to battle them. And that's gonna lead us to the next thing: trainer battles and wild encounters. So, talking about wild encounters and trainer battles, Pokemon are extremely fragile in the battle system, right? Like, we're not talking about agile systems or agile styles or strong styles. We're not even talking about that in general. We're only going to be talking about just like levels and just normal moves right now. So it's been really revamped, like when you first encounter your first battle, you'll notice that you can move around and shit, which is pretty cool. It doesn't really do anything strategically, but it's pretty cool. I do like that. The second thing is you can also, honestly, I don't even know where I'm going with this whole first thing, second thing is, but the whole point of what I'm trying to say is Pokemon will die instantly, or they can KO somebody instantly. Levels don't really matter too much, which really helps with the immersion. You got extra, I guess, adjustments to the battle system, like I said earlier, that really makes things really interesting. Like, you got agile style, which makes you move first but have less damage, or strong style, which you move last but you do more damage. However, strong style in the story mode is very, very OP because agile style or strong style moves have a priority before any other moves, which means they can usually go first, and most people use regular attacks first before they use any of the styles. Same goes in regular encounters. Encounter Pokemon will usually do normal moves before they do agile or strong style, which means you can just spam strong style and you can just always take turn 1 with the full amount of damage. And I guess the only caveat is, you lose 2 PP instead of 1 PP. Same thing with agile style. You lose 2 PP instead of 1 PP, but strong style is pretty broken, and if they fix agile style, it would make it really interesting. But other than that, strong style is kind of broken right now. Really, really broken. Let's talk about side missions. Oh my goodness. The side missions. I feel like the side missions have an identity crisis, yeah? On one hand, they're supposed to fill the gap, right? How earlier I mentioned how the world is just, you're kind of left up to your own devices. There really isn't much story, like on your way to defeat certain bosses and stuff. There isn't that much story. That's where side missions come in. But first off, it doesn't really fit with the vibe of the main gameplay, the main walkthrough, because on one hand you have to quell these nobles fast, right? You have to quell these nobles super fast. On the other hand, you have to catch 3 Bidoof for this one person. That way you can get 2 extra rare candies. Well, that's a great steal. That's a wonderful steal. But but I gotta save the world. Oh, you want to save the world, or you want to catch 3 Bidoofs? Really? Come on now, huh? Really? Like the vibes. It just totally breaks immersion, right? Oh, can you get me this one? Can you get me this one leek or this one roots for me, please? Oh. While you're trying to save the world, while you're trying to stop Komodo from reaching Mount Coronet, just take a detour, just go collect some stuff for a person, It doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't make, the immersion just totally breaks. And how I earlier mentioned, right, about how the side missions and all that, I didn't mention shit, but I mentioned earlier that the rewards you get from picking off the ground, right? It's good enough, and how on Ursaluna, you don't really need to use it that much, in my opinion. Same goes for the side missions. The rewards are great, but I can usually just pick it off the ground. You know, like Ursaluna and side missions, you know, they kind of go hand in hand, right? Both are nice, you know, nice to do all that. But you know, you don't really need the rewards. I mean, you can usually find out off the ground or in the main mission. Like it's just kind of meh, to be honest. Like side missions, they're great, but like, that's my biggest thing is they break immersion. They really break immersion, and the rewards aren't that great. They are really great post game though, because it really fits in the environment, right? After you save the world, you know, okay, fine. If you want to go help out this one person, collect this thing, or help find a person or whatever, it really fits with the vibe. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. It makes sense to have the uninteresting side missions that don't relate to the main mission. You know what I mean? Have that in the post game, which pretty much all of them are. Pretty much. Like there weren't any side missions that had really great significance in the lore, which really broke my immersion. There were obviously some, like, you know, the incarnate forces, like catching Thunderous, and all. Basically, or Garatina. Garatina is really important, or like fucking the Darkrai one, but not really. Yeah, maybe really. Like basically any legendary catching one is, I guess, important and I guess all epic, but you know, you can't have too many of those, right? You can't have too many of those. Why can't there be side missions that can help build a better main mission? I don't really get it. Yeah, like I said, that's my main problem, was just not really enough immersion. And finally, let's talk about the ending and post game. Ending, I will say, I mean, it's a bad ending. It's like, oh, you know, catch Dialga, catch Palkia, and everybody go has a party. But you're forgetting the fact that Arceus is a thing, and most people, when they hear the word post game, like myself, you know, they're just like, whatever, screw it. But in this scenario, I'm just like, now I have to play the post game now because I want to see Arceus. And the post game ending, while defeating God and getting him on your party, is pretty neat. But post game isn't all that nice. In the post game, you just basically collect Wisp and, you know, do more bosses and, you know, do more bosses and just collect the remaining Pokemon. That's about it. Like that's why I said side missions really suit well with the post game, because, you know, they're just calm and just chill. Really, it's really chill. But yeah, they definitely sacrificed the ending to make a pretty decent post game. They definitely did. Because it's like ending a book at its climax, right? Or ending a book 3/4 of the way. You're not done. You're not finished. So why did you end the game there? I don't know. I honestly don't know. So now you're making capturing Arceus optional, even though he's on the post. Even though he's on the not on the cover, but you know his name is on the cover. You know what I mean? So come on now. Just because he isn't directly on the cover, that's why you have to cut the ending there. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. But you know, it's very picky. It's very picky. You know what I mean? It's very picky. But other than that, what do I think of this game? I give this game a 9.3 out of 10. Like I said, there are definitely a lot of rough areas in the game that could be built better. Like I said, side missions, and you know, Ursaluna, you know, they could be better. Like Ursaluna, you know, have something better for the Pokemon that would make me want to use that Pokemon, because I either use Whiteear, Whiteear, Basculegion, Sneasel, Braver. I don't even think of Ursaluna as like a proper ride Pokemon, because I don't need the treasure hunting thing, and the rewards aren't that really good. And if they are, well, I beat the game without them, so, you know, whatever. And the side missions, like, same thing, right? The rewards are good, but I beat the game without them. You know what I mean? I mean, I did some side missions, of course. You know what I mean? I did some side missions, just like how I rode Ursaluna. Like I said, I don't really need them. You know what I mean? Like, the itsy bitsy stuff, like, oh, go find this one security corpse. Like, no. Like, I don't care that much, man. I don't care. You know, I don't care that much. Yeah. Like the rewards are pretty okay. That's like my really big thing, and of course, And of course, you know, the like the STDs, the, you know, space-time distortion. Like, just, you know, make it less RNG, you know, like, don't make me wait 5 days just to catch 2 Pokemon and be done with the game. Like, really now? Really, you know? And stuff like, oh, you know, transportation, you know, fast travel. Maybe just add a little bit of fast travel here and there, but other than that, I mean, you know, obviously update the visuals and stuff like that, but other than that, the game is nice. The game is nice. I give it a 9.3 out of 10. Wonderful game. Very, very wonderful game. Yeah. Would I recommend this game? For sure. That's about it. Yeah, this is me, Austin, and I'll see you guys next time.